I'll say it out loud. Like, we let fans in the ring.
Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros. I've maybe caught, I would say, since its beginning, God, bro, maybe 3 episodes of NXT.
Yeah.
To this day, maybe 3. And the episodes I saw were when, Charlotte was still there and Becky was still there and Rebecca DeMonet, whatever her new name is, she was there. And that's when I first saw you.
Back when I was a nice, young, long-haired kid, right?
Well, bro, here's the thing. Man, I am a writer by trade.
Yes.
And listen, Tom, I say this all the time. Bro, there are a million wrestlers. And, let's be honest, you can train to become a wrestler. And, in 2025, trust me, a lot easier to become a wrestler than it was in 1975. But what jumps out at me all the time is character. And when I saw you for the first time, I saw 2 things. I saw character. You stood out. You were different. And I could tell that you got it. Tom, I always say there are 2 categories of wrestlers, and I could tell you immediately. There are pro wrestlers that get it and are pro wrestlers. And then you have maybe 75% of the roster that want to be wrestlers, and they go out there and do what wrestlers do, and they do what they think wrestlers are supposed to do. You could tell the difference. Bro, the first time I saw you, I saw that you belonged and you got it.
Dude, you're so spot on with that. I know Terry Taylor said it before where he said, you're playing wrestler.
Yes.
And you can see it, though. And I think there's a lot of things that go that, like guys who've never been in a fight before. They don't know what it feels like to be punched in the face. Or guys who didn't grow up watching it. Now there's so many athletes coming through that have never watched the product before. I grew up in Kansas City. My dad was taking us 6 hours early so we could see Kamala walk into the building, in Memorial Hall in Kansas City. So it's like that's all part of it. And I think that is something that's lost today. I came in and the whole character was, I've never watched wrestling. They've called me, screw the independent guys, because that's predominantly what was in NXT. So it made me stand out different as a character. But, I grew up watching this stuff, and I've been in plenty of fights to know what it feels like to be, kicked in the chest, punched in the face, things like that. And also just bringing the emotion to the table.
Well, Tommy, you know what it is? I see this all the time when I watch these shows. I'm sorry, man. I really feel this way about wrestling in 2025. I see a lot of amateurs. I really do. And bro, I know, Tom, because of your background, and this is what I really want to get into. We're going to talk a little bit about your career, but there's really other interesting things I want to get back to. Bro, you are a guy that won Golden Gloves twice. Then you were a guy that went to the NFL. So you were a pro before you ever got to professional wrestling. And here's why I say this, bro, because, again, I'm going to go back to that first NXT. A pro carries themselves like a pro. When somebody doesn't belong, man, you just know they don't belong. And Tom, this is a big hint for me, too. In wrestling, when I get the Martin Luther King, I had a dream promo. Yeah, bro, you had a dream because it wasn't supposed to happen. So you're standing there on Monday Night Raw and you're going back to this dream and you're saying, how the hell did I get here? I was never supposed to get here. Bro, I've never heard a professional athlete say, I had a dream, because, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a professional athlete, you know you belong, man.
Yes,
when
yes.
you're winning the Golden Gloves, you know you're a champ. When you make the NFL, you know you're a pro, and you expect, that's what you expect. But what is that fine line, and what is it when you just know somebody's carrying themselves like a pro?
Yeah, there's a huge difference to it. And it's not just in the wrestling ring, and it's not in the NXT facility. It's how guys look going to the airport, how guys look in public. And I've seen so many superstars nowadays where we say, I mean, I'll say it out loud, like we let fans in the ring. And I think it's not a great thing for the wrestling world because now everybody thinks they can do it, number one. But number two, there's guys in there that you look at and you go, I saw 50 of you at the mall today. Like what separates you? But when you are walking through the mall and you see a professional athlete, a football, a fighter, hockey player, they carry themselves with just a different aura. There's a different way they look, a different way they walk, and they know they can't be touched. Like, you know, when I'm going now, I'm competing in jiu-jitsu all over the world. I'm ranked third in the world in my division right now in jiu-jitsu. And when I can step in front of someone and I go, you have it or you don't, like I'll kill you in about 5 seconds. Like that's kind of the thing with when you have pros coming into this, like a Chad Gable to me, someone who wrestled at the Olympic level. He knows he belongs in that ring competing with the world best. It has nothing to do with size or ability. He just knows there's just that. It's just built in him. And so I think there is a large separator between the two.
Tom, I think what you're talking about, and again, bro, listen, call me a lot of things. Some people love my writing. Some people hate my writing. That's fine. One thing I think I'm very good at is picking out the it factor. And I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
When I was able to turn on NXT and I saw you, immediately I know the it factor. I see people literally making a debut and I'm like, bro, they're never going to get over in a million years. And I got to tell you, Tom, we're going to be all over the place, bro, because I got a million things to ask you.
Let's go.
This is the part that blows me away. Listen, bro, I worked with Hunter. I worked with Sean. I worked side by side with those guys very, very closely. Tom, when guys come up or gals to NXT, I'll look at them. I'll just look at them and say, this person's never going to get over. Ever. They don't have the it factor. And 9 times out of 10, they're gone in 6 months. It happens over and over again. And it blows my mind because, you know, Triple H and, you know, Sean, they're in charge of NXT. Bro, these are guys that had the it factor. So that's what blows my mind. It's like, are you guys looking at the same talent that I'm looking at? And how are they getting to this level without the it factor?
I think that, especially for Hunter and Sean, I think they look at it as sometimes a challenge. Like, maybe this guy's not the generic type of athlete or it factor that we normally get, but let's see if we can make something out of it. I think it becomes a challenge, and that's when it just becomes monotonous on TV of like, okay, what are we doing? Why are they like, it's not working. Okay, let's change this. It's still not working. And it's like, all right, I get there's a valiant effort there to try to make a star out of this person. The challenge, I think that's part of it too, because you hear the old story about when X-Pac came in and Vince was like, I can make him a star. And it was like a challenge. It was, you know, a bet or whatever it was. And he became a massive star. And I think that now Hunter and Sean kind of like, we can do that too. Like we can make a star even if they don't have the it factor because we can hide it in storyline. We can hide it in the ring. We'll just put them with better talent and those kind of things. But I think it's proving that it's not working.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, Tom, because I don't believe for 1 second if somebody does not have the it factor, you ain't going to get them over. Like, you know, when I was there, you know, JR was talent relations. Tom, when JR handed me a roster, I knew everybody on that roster deserved that spot because that's how JR was. JR wasn't giving anything away. So he would give me a list and I knew, okay, these are the guys that I need to get over, help get over, and they belong on the roster. I got to tell you, Tom, I don't think you can get somebody over without the it factor. And when I talk about over, I'm like you. I'm talking about the masses. I'm not talking about a full sale crowd. That I'm talking about the masses. I don't know if you get somebody over without the it factor.
I agree because you can't send them. It has to be 360 degrees. They have to be able to do everything. You have to be able to send them to SportsCenter, ESPN. How do they look standing next to ex-NFL players and ESPN hosts and all of those things? You got to send them to a red carpet. How do they look standing up next to Hollywood stars? Because those are the things that get you over to the masses, not just the bubble itself, not just the Twitter or the Instagram fans. it's something that becomes a global. Like when you put Roman Reigns on camera in front of ESPN, standing next to Shannon Sharp or whoever it is, he looks equivalent. He's a star. There's something to it. But if you send someone else that doesn't have that it factor, that is small or generic, I mean, and you can have the it factor any size, any shape, any look. There's something there. There's people for everyone, but a majority of those people, they are going to look out of place.